In the last video, we discussed the factor theorem and how it gives us a quick way of checking whether a binomial is a factor of a larger polynomial without having to do the long division. If you recall, we used this function, which we called f of x, and we asked, is x minus 2 a factor of f of x? So the factor theorem tells us that if we substitute the value that makes this binomial equal to 0, in this case 2, into the function, and get a result of 0, then it is a factor. If we get a result that's not 0, then the result that we get is the remainder of dividing the function by this binomial. But in the case of x minus 2, when we substituted 2 into the function, we got 0. In other words, there's no remainder, which means x minus 2 is a factor of f of x. Now, knowing that x minus 2 is a factor of this, we can continue and find the other factors by long division. Or, if we wanted to, we could use synthetic division. So we know that x minus 2 is one factor. So to use synthetic division, we write 2 over there. It's the value that would make x minus 2 0. Then we write our coefficients here in descending order of power. So 1, -6, 3, and 10. Synthetic division, we bring this one down, multiply 1 by 2 is 2, and add, we get -4. Now multiply again to bring this up, so -4 times 2 is -8. Add 3 and -8 gives us -5, and then multiply again. -5 times 2 is -10, and adding again we get 0. Now because this was x cubed, x squared, x and a constant, this is x squared, x, constant, and remainder. Makes sense that the remainder is 0 because we already said the divisor was a factor. So now we've identified that x cubed minus 6x squared plus 3x plus 10 is equal to x minus 2 times x squared minus 4x minus 5. And we know that we can factor this trinomial as well. So carry the x minus 2 down. This becomes x minus 5 times x plus 1. So the original polynomial can be written like this in its fully factored form. X cubed minus 6x squared plus 3x plus 10 is equal to x minus 2 times x minus 5 times x plus 1. We fully factored this polynomial. Now, we started off knowing that x minus 2 was a factor because we plugged in 2 into the function and got out 0. So it would be nice to have a way of figuring out what the first factor is, because after that we can do long division without having to just guess and check every number. Now, notice that if we were to multiply this back, expand the right side out to get the left side, the only way we're going to get a constant term, the only place that this 10 is going to arise from is multiplying these three constant terms together. Because any other multiplication is going to involve an x, and so it will not just be a constant term. In other words, that positive 10 comes from -2 being multiplied by -5 and positive 1. In other words, the constant terms multiply. Therefore, any possible value of a, any possible value that would make a binomial divisor equal to 0, must be a factor of the constant term in the polynomial. So although we were given x minus 2 in this case, we could have found it by guess and check by looking only at factors of the constant term here. In other words, we could have evaluated the function at plus or minus 1, plus or minus 2, plus or minus 5, and plus or minus 10, and we would have exhausted all the possibilities for possible factors. There's still 8 to go through, but at least it's not an infinite number. So that's how we would start to find the first factor. After that, we can use long division. I'll show you an example in the next video.